Are you motivated by wanting to make things better, by creating things that help people? If so, then you want to deliver not just what people are asking for, but what they really want and need. And if you're a designer, a developer, or any other job where you create something, your job is solving problems and delivering solutions. And that's why you need to understand the simple but powerful tool of user stories. And today on Everyday Design, I'm going to walk through the structure of a user story, and then we're going to look at some examples so you can see how it works. Have you ever heard someone say, this is what I asked for, but it's not really what I wanted? It's so deflating. All that work going towards creating the wrong thing. I know the frustration of putting in the hard work, whether it's delivering a website or designing a room in a home that's just the way it was asked for, but then you find out there's this disconnect between what they asked for and what they actually wanted, and it was never communicated. It's not fun, but I've run across a lot less of those situations since I've begun applying user stories to different domains in my life. And a user story it's a simple tool, but it can give you the confidence that you're building the right thing. And it comes in a format with 3 parts. As a, I want to, so that I can. Pretty straightforward, but let's walk through what each one of those means. So it's as a user. This identifies who is the user. More specific, the better. You want to be able to envision the person that you're designing for. Because a product, when it's designed for a tightly defined user, it can be effective on a broad audience, but those one-size-fits-all approaches really fit nobody well. So keep your ideal user tightly defined and focused. Next, I want to. This identifies the goal. What is the immediate outcome that your user is looking for? You want to ensure that it's clear and frictionless for your user to reach this goal. This section, it's not about naming the deliverable, but really it's about naming what is the user's action that they're trying to take. So instead of for this video, it's not I want a video on user stories, it's I want to learn about user stories. It's their goal. And then that brings us to so that I can. This identifies the motivation, why the user wants to achieve this goal. When creating something, you got to make all these different design choices, and both the goal but also really the motivation informs those choices. And when a solution doesn't consider the motivation or the user, it feels like a miss, even if it kind of meets the goal, and people end up frustrating. But when you nail the why, people say, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So to review, you have as a user, I want to reach a goal so that I can fulfill my motivation. Let's look at some examples of these. If you were working through my What is Scrum guide, maybe you were a student who wants to understand the general concepts of Scrum so that you can decide, is it something you want to pursue a certification in? Or maybe as a team leader, you want to understand the general ideas of Scrum also, but it's so that you know how to respond to your boss when she says you want to become more agile. Or maybe it's even as an entrepreneur, so a different user, you want a simple but effective way to organize all the stuff that you need to get done so that you can keep delivering the right things and not get bogged down or sidetracked. So you see there's some variety in there, all for the same product, but I understand the first one had 2 different users, or the first 2 had 2 different users, but they had the same common goal of I want to understand the general ideas of Scrum, but different motivations. And so those motivations are going to nuance what kind of posts or videos I create. They're going to influence the steps that I'm going to suggest those different users to take. And so when I think about all 3 of those user stories, I'm going to create posts what's the definition of Scrum, but also what certifications should I pursue, or how can I apply Scrum outside of the area of software development. And when you understand user stories, there's no more wasting time trying to deliver or create the wrong thing, trying to solve the wrong problem. You end up delivering solutions that aren't just in the neighborhood, but they're right on target. If you're a designer, you get to create things that delight people. All of us can use user stories to better solve the problems in our everyday life. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I got a lot more to come on user stories to really get into how to practice it. So check the links in the descriptions. If you got any questions, throw those in the comment. Would love to engage with you there. Please follow the channel so you can keep getting helpful videos like this one. All right, thanks. See you next time.